Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach Podcast. I'm your host, Caitlen, a reverse diet expert, sustainable fat loss nerd, and food freedom lover. After healing my own mind, body, and metabolism from the icky, restrict, binge, food guilt cycles, I became obsessed with helping other women do the same. I spent 6 years getting my bachelor's and master's degrees in all things nutrition, dietetics, and metabolism health, go Clemson Tigers, in order to start a science-backed, never cookie-cutter, always customized online macro and reverse diet coaching business. I have supported over 3,500 incredible women in their journey to endless results, and I am so excited to help you do the same. In this podcast, I will be teaching you how to break up with the yo-yo diet cycles, tips and tricks to heal your metabolism through reverse dieting. I will be giving away my sustainable weight loss secrets, all without you having to give up a single food you love. So if you're ready to rediscover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible, grab a pen and a piece of paper, bump up your volume just a little, and let's dive right in. And don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook. All you need to do is submit a quality 5-star rate and review on this podcast, then fill out the form in the show notes so I know exactly where to send your cookbook. This will actually also automatically enter you into the weekly macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely, beautiful peach who has left an awesome 5-star rate and review on this podcast. The winner is announced every single week in my email newsletter email list, as well as my Instagram story. You can't miss it. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I will see you in the episode. What is up, my beautiful peach? I was about to say I am joined by my co-host Trisket. She just left. So we are no longer joined by my co-host Trisket. That is my cute little 9-pound dog. I was going to say puppy, but she is actually 7 years old. So she's not a puppy. She's just tiny and cute. I am so excited for this episode. We are going to be talking all about, is eating too much protein causing your plateau? You might be very surprised by some of the information that I'm going to share. I will be talking all things protein versus your plateau, and giving you some resources to get started with the correct protein intake. So without further ado, let's dive on into this episode. We love our protein if we want to build muscle, if we want to have a kick butt metabolism, if we want to lose weight, and we should love our protein for that reason. I think so many people know about protein. They recognize that it's amazing for our muscle growth and recovery. What happens when we are strength training, for example, is we are creating these little micro tears in our muscle, and our protein is going to go and actually heal that micro tear and create new muscle over it. That's how muscle growth happens. And these are good tears. They're not bad tears. I know it sounds scary to have a micro tear, but these are actually, that's what's happening. It's actually it's kind of creepy to think about, like when we're lifting weights, we're creating tears in our muscle. It's pretty wild. But the protein's amazing because it can go and it can help heal that micro tear and help you build that beautiful muscle, okay? I have an episode in here already. I'm always giving you other episodes to listen to, but if you go to episode 111, angel number there, why you cannot properly build muscle in a calorie deficit. Oh, you know what? It might be 112. It's either 111 or 112. You can learn a little bit more about that. However, coming back to this episode here, so often when people are learning about protein, they end up eating way too much protein. And the reason is because our protein is calculated, number one, by our body weight. But so many people actually use pounds rather than kilograms when calculating their protein. My C. Schmidt macro calculator will help you calculate that protein properly if that's something that you want. And I think that this is so often, I will fully admit, my co-host is back. Welcome, Trisket. So many people think that It's based off of pounds, not kilograms. And I remember back in college, this was just, I think so many people think this because it's all over the internet, that our professors back in college had this question on like every single exam. And I will fully admit, that thought was so ingrained in my head that it was pounds, not kilograms, that I think I got it wrong in like the first few exams. And then I finally got it down. I was like, okay, yep, I'm getting this. So essentially what happens when we're eating too much protein? We can have two different scenarios here. Number one, we have our gal pal who has a slow metabolism. This is often due to dieting, and when we are consuming a low calorie intake for a prolonged period of time, this is going to lower our metabolism down to a slower place, say for example, 1200 calories. If you are interested in learning more about a slow metabolism, I highly suggest taking a peek at some of my previous episodes. Those will walk you through what a slow metabolism is, how to heal your metabolism, aka reverse diet, and a lot more information there. Now, usually if this is the case, if we are, say, let's use our example, 1200 calories, we're eating 1200 calories, our metabolism has been slowed to that 1200 calorie place. Usually in this case, if we are going to eat more food from that 1200 calorie place, it will lead to weight regain, okay? Our body is used to 1200 calories. When we start to eat more without a reverse diet, which is the process of healing our metabolism to not have any weight regain, our body's gonna be like, whoa, girl, what are you doing when you're just jumping your food up? And in this case, if we are consuming far too much protein, okay, it actually can still cause weight regain because it's eating in a surplus over where our metabolism sits, okay? And I will say, like, this is not quite as common. I will fully admit it's not quite as common because normally when somebody ends up eating more food, it's usually either going to end up eating more carbs or more fat. But the main point here is if you are consuming more than where your metabolism sits, and this can be from protein, from carbs, and from fat, it can cause weight regain. So I have seen people who have come to me who were eating 1200 calories initially. They were told they need to eat more protein. They jumped up their protein like a wild amount. They are now eating in a surplus and they are now seeing weight regain happening, okay? So that's why you really want to make sure that you are having the proper macros calculated for you, but also calculated based on your specific metabolism. I want to interrupt this so lovely podcast episode of mine to let you know about a new program coming very soon. Doors are not open quite yet. However, I want to give you just a hint of the details so you can get your name on the waitlist if it does sound like it's something that is up your alley. This program is going to be for beginner macro trackers as well as beautiful peaches who want to support learning to confidently track their macros while navigating life events so they can stop the exhausting weekend start over cycle that is holding them back from losing weight long term and healing their metabolism. You'll be learning how to track food with no nutrition label so you no longer have to be that friend who only orders a side salad with no dressing because she is so scared of getting off track. You will be learning to navigate potlucks such as family cookouts and holidays so your biggest concern is great Aunt Karen's unsolicited advice on your love life or how to raise your kids rather than the stress of trying to stay away from the food table all night in fear of getting off track. I'm not going to fully spill all of the beans, but if you want support learning how to master your macros in social settings, get on the waitlist to be the first to know when I release the full details for the program. That way, when doors are officially open, you are ready to rock and roll. I will drop the waitlist down below in the show notes for you, so go hop in, and if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram, and I am happy to answer those for you. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Now, number 2 here, and this one's very interesting because I think a lot of people don't actually realize that you can't actually eat too much protein. So there is what I call a golden range for protein. My macro calculator will walk you through that, my C-Schmidt macro calculator. But basically, we have a golden range to make sure you have adequate muscle growth and recovery. And this is also going to be based on your individual metabolism. So if you are someone who is, let's say, for example, if we are calculating your protein, carbs, and fat the right way, so your macros the right way. And let's say for the sake of this example, your max amount of protein, because we used your kilograms to do this, is going to put you at 130 grams of protein a day, okay? However, this is there is a cap when it comes to the amount of protein that you're consuming versus the benefits that you're going to get out of it. So let's say your cap is 130. It's not like you're going to be harmed if you eat more. Like, you're going to be fine. It's just going to be taking away from the food that could be going to carbs for your energy balance, or the food that could be going to fat for your hormonal balance. Okay. So let's say you've got your cap, go back to our cap of 130. Let's say you're being told you need to eat more protein. So you go up to, let's do a dramatic increase here. Let's say you're going up to 200 grams of protein. Quite literally, there is going to be absolutely no additional benefit to this. There's not going to be an additional benefit to more muscle growth and recovery. It's basically going to be taking away from food and fuel that could be going to your carbs and your fat. And the reason for this is because we do have that golden range for our protein, and our body can only take so much. And I wish I thought of an example for this before, but basically think of it as a cup. Okay. So we've got 3 cups. This is a really good one. We've got 3 cups. One is for your protein, one is for your fat, and one is for your carbs. Okay. And let's just say, for the sake of this example, let's just say we have 130 protein in one, we've got 130 in 2, and we've got 130 in the 3rd cup. Now, because our protein cap is at that 130, that cup actually will be full to the top. Okay. We've got 130, we've got its cap. Let's say for your fat, you have wiggle room, you can go up. So that cup's only halfway full. And let's say for your carbs, you have ample room to go up. So that cup's only 1/3 of the way full. Okay. So your fat cup and your carb cup are not completely full. However, your protein cup is full. But you say, well, I would like to eat more food. I'm going to put that food into my protein cup. Well, it's already full. So it's just going to overflow, but it's just going to spill all over the counter, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's just extra floating around in your body, not really doing much, just kind of taking up space. It doesn't actually take up space, but it's just hanging out there. What you actually could have done, and probably should have done, was taken that and been intentional about adding to your fat cup and adding to your carb cup to help your body, to benefit your body. And because you have adequate protein for that muscle growth and recovery, you've checked that box. Now let's work on that fat cup and that carb cup. Okay. So essentially, once you've hit that cap for your protein, you're doing great. But if you're not having overall fuel altogether, you're going to want to make sure that you're adding into the fat and to the carbs to make sure you're getting your metabolism thriving, getting your intake up, and making sure you have energy balance in and out of the gym. Fat for your hormonal balance as well. So this was a short and sweet episode, but I think that it was important because so many people think that we can just keep going up and up and up in protein, but you really actually can overeat in protein. And if you are overeating in the sense of it's causing you to go into a surplus compared to where your metabolism is sitting, that can cause weight regain. However, it's really, really uncommon, because when people are eating in a surplus, normally it's going to be carbs and fat. But the main point of that is eating in a surplus can cause weight regain if you are not healing your metabolism during that process. And then number two here is, if you are eating at, if your cap to your protein, and you can go figure that out in my macro calculator, is 130 protein, but you're just pushing your protein up to 140, 150, 160, it's really not going to give you any kind of extra benefit. You will be much better off fueling your fat and fueling your carbs and getting more intake going there. So I hope you enjoyed this, short, sweet, to the point, but an important little one that I wanted to explain because I keep getting this question and I wanted to share. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, my beautiful peach.